Let's keep going.
To address all these misbehaviors.
I'm coming to it. So for me, what I'm saying is, for me, when I shut down, we are in a place now that my partner already knows that whatever takes this guy to shut down is because of the last communication we're having, the last conversation or argument that we're not unresolved. So what she do, once she notice this guy don't shut down, almost 24 hours. The next thing, the moment she's coming back from work or anything, or it could be a phone call, she'll be like, "Oh, Benny, come on, may we talk?" Because you don't begin to do gaga now. If I start down for you, okay, may we talk? Then I will just smile. I say, all right, are you ready to hear my own side of the story now? And she'll be like, okay. Then if I'm at work, I'll be like, okay, let me get home. When I get home, once the children are gone, we come back in our own private place and then we start talking. And then by the time we talk, she will listen, I listen to her, then we start looking for solution. And I think for the past 7 years, since she figured it out that the only time this guy gets shut down like this is when we cannot reach agreement on something, and I'm taking a stronger stand on it. Are you hearing me now? So since when she find it out, everything has been smooth and positive all the way. So that's just what I'm saying.
So this shutting down of yours, how long does it take? And how often do you do it?
That's a good question, right? Because everything Uncle Beno described up to that point is not what we were discussing. It hasn't been what we were discussing. We were discussing silent treatment. And 2 days ago, we defined that here as, just for the sake of this conversation, anything above 24 hours. And now it's getting awkward and awkwarder, and people are completely living like roommates, right? That's what we're talking about. Not a temporary, like, okay, this conversation is getting nowhere. I'm just going to go in my own corner. I am upset. It's normal to be upset, right? But let me withdraw from this. If you have a wife who is in tune with that, or a husband who is in tune with that, say, babe, I'm sorry about yesterday. Let's talk about it. I've had time to think about it. Okay? There's something that happened not too long ago that I actually, like, I'll talk about that another day. Okay? With my own personal life, I'll talk about another day. But the point is that you eventually, once you approach this with some smile on your face, some grace for yourself, some patience with yourself, you just see that some of these behavior are normal, right? And you're able to, once you have enough grace for yourself, you're able to offer the other person some grace. Oh, okay, she's upset. But okay, let's just shut it down for now. Okay, you're actually upset. You mean it. But 2 hours later, you're like, God, all right. My face is stressed out. It wasn't even that deep. Okay, babe, this is what we're trying. Like, when eventually you can get in that space where it's not that deep. You see what I'm saying? So, but in the beginning, when people don't know what they're doing, which is 100% of people that say I do, okay, when you don't know what you're doing, it's everybody who collect now. Everybody collects. Everybody.
Thank you. That's a very good question, Auntie B. For me, I really shut down. And like I said, it is only when there is this.
See, he made another point. I really shut down. People that give silent treatment, there's nothing like really in their situation. There's no such thing as really. Okay, this is a consistent problem, and it's eating the cord, the spinal cord. Otinjera is decaying that marriage down the hill. That's what this conversation is about. Now, it can start as a shutdown that Uncle Ben described, because that person might just be learning a better shutdown method, and now bass meets bows, and then, right? So it can start as something very mild and then progress. I think it was Bumi that mentioned that yesterday. It can start that way. That's why we're making a stand that, no, this is a terrible. If you're going to withdraw from a conversation, it needs to come from an intentional place. Somebody called it timeout. Like, you know what? Let's take a timeout. It's a little bit more intentional than, oh, I didn't have my way. Motibinu ninge. Those are two different things. Even though the actions look alike, might seem to look alike. They're two different things. One is healthy. The other one is toxic. It will eat the core of your marriage. Okay, let's keep going.
Matter that in my own view as a man, I always put my family first. And I don't get in anybody's business.
Enter Talkify, the ultimate dating hack. I met my fiance on Talkify and let me
business. But when anybody is getting into our business in such a way, or there is a decision we have to make.
You see all the ladies saying, isn't that manipulation? Just because you don't agree it's manipulation doesn't make it not manipulation. That's something I want especially the gentlemen to understand. Just because your intentions was not to manipulate or to abuse does not make it not abuse or manipulation. Your intentions, for the most part, especially if you're stuck on I'm a good guy, and Uncle Ben was already going that direction right now. I'm a guy, we take care of my family, all that stuff is irrelevant when we're talking about this issue. It's relevant only to a certain extent. I think it's good to be a good guy. That's not what we're saying here. I just don't want you to attach too much expectations to or entitlement to that, to your own idea of being a good guy, right? I want you to understand there are emotions happening behind the scenes, and sometimes they won't make what you might consider to be logical sense. Another human being is involved. Let's keep going. No, another human being's emotions are involved. Let's keep going.
That involve our children, involve our future, and what we are trying to achieve. That is when I come up with my own ideas that let's do this. So it's only when we get to the
ATB say it is manipulation.
issue of discussion is really critical, and my partner no one listening. That is when it comes to shutdown. I don't have time for all those fleecy things like.
Oh, by the way, Uncle Ben was not talking that fast. I sped it up. Let me put that normal.
Minor thing, you shut down. No. So I'm just saying this, that at times you might be married to a woman or a man who you can tell that this person really loves you and is really doing his or her best to make things. But once you are getting to a situation whereby the argument is becoming so strong that one person is withdrawing, that is a signal that something is not right. Let's quickly address it.
Black Lotus is asking, if your wife doesn't come to you to reconcile, would you continue to shut down?
Yes, that's a good.
Uncle Beno, you have to agree. That's your coconut head that say yes in that place. But I see that you don't want to deteriorate from the original point you were making. You want it to be straightforward, right? But that's an element of that coconut head in that space. That's saying, yes. But you meant it, you know. But shout out to Uncle Beno because this conversation has grown wings. Let's keep going. There's some points I'm gonna address there in a second. Let's keep going.
Good one. Like I said, we are different.
He went back to we're different. And then he recently said, me as a man, I take care of my household. Like, that has nothing. There are a lot of men. There are a lot of women who take care of their kids, continue to cook, and they are abusive to their husband. Let's use so we don't think this is about gender. Because gender warriors are always ready to go. Okay? There are a lot of people who take care of necessary household chores and they are abusive. Right? And then they're like, after everything I've done, they're like, I know, I'm sorry. It wasn't good enough that you did those typical things. There are a lot of men that are washing pata for their wife and they're abusive. How? Even pata, I know. Emotions no be your mates. Let's keep going.
Personally, I'm
but wait, how does that make sense? I didn't mean to abuse, I'm just abusing her. Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, you can hurt other people without realizing that you're hurting them. Because we're not talking about random people off the streets. We're talking about your wife, the one you fell in love with once upon a time and you married. And somehow they start to feel differently. And anytime they complain, you said, I just think you don't appreciate what I bring to the table. Does that sound familiar? Okay, let's keep going.
I'm always this type of man that once you think you get strong head, that there's no need to talk.
Once you have coconut head and multiply the coconut head for you, that's out of order. That's not how God designed us. Particularly if you pay attention to our civilization, socialization, the role we play as men. We don't multiply, okay? We carry the seeds of what we want, okay? Now, we can choose where we sow those seeds, okay? We can choose that. If the ground is not fertile enough to do what you want it to do, you can choose. That's part of, and you have more than enough to go around. That's how it works. I think they say women can create 250,000 ovaries. I don't know the exact numbers. Don't quote me. Men, 400 million for every ejaculation. Something crazy, some wild gap. Don't quote me, please. I probably just butcher that. But some kind of wild gap. So this competition thing that's going on very subconsciously, very subtly, that's the problem. She's the one multiplying. You cannot multiply as fast as she can. Like she multiplies. When I say multiplies, nations. So competing with that in this respect, either spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, yes, not physically though. But everything that's not physical, everything that's not your own idea of logic, most of you gentlemen, the way she multiply, you can't match it. You're going to, your engine cannot, you're not designed to do that. You're literally shooting yourself on the legs. That's what I mean by it's out of order. If you show me that you have coconut head, me too, I will now come out. Could it work? It's not going to work. It is not going to work. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's the way it's set up. That's part of the things that created the sexual polarity that I keep talking about. We're not equal. We're not the same. Right? Funny enough, Uncle Beno said it in his everybody plays their role, but he's talking about physical and tangible stuff. What about the role that's happening at the subconscious level? The one that our bad habit is turning out and is in the wrong order now. What about those ones that we're not really paying attention to? I think that's where this conversation is coming in, and it's probably getting way too complex right now already. You know? But again, I didn't want to nitpick the words, but I heard that. I wanted to talk about that real quick. Let's keep going. I'll come back to some of it.
I am right. See, my lawyer not too far from me. Marriage is over with that. So to answer your question, I am ready to remove myself from the situation. If marriage won't end, make it end. That's like me, oh. I'm not.
So you know what a woman does with that? It stays in her mind. Okay? I have the personal experience and I've seen it over and over again. It stays in her mind, right? You're supposed to bring the safety, certainty, security, masculine energy into that relationship. But you've now sown the seed of fear. My lawyer, I'm just assuming, let's say, because that will show in the energy, even if you don't say that exactly, right? Well, I can just leave her. Yeah. Then she will start nursing the idea. I can't trust this person. Every time we have a hard conversation, they run. This person will run away. They start to use phrases like this person. Right? This person will run away. Every time we're like, She will start nursing the idea. She might be like, I'm a good woman. I will never do that to my husband. It's my fault. I will sign an undertaking. But, Obìnrin is not your mate. The reality will kick back in. It's only a matter of time. Right? And you too, you're like, it gets worse because you two, you're trying to match that energy. There's a reason why you're trying to match that energy. That will continue. It's a feminine energy. We all have feminine and masculine energy in us. It's just that we have dominating energy, right? But once you get caught up in that and you have two feminine energy going at each other, Baba, that's chaos. So we needed you, your masculine energy, to keep that household in order because she multiplies everything out of control. She paints color, bala bala, all over the place. You that will say, it's your energy that will say, babe, no, you don't have to do all that. And she's like, yeah, babe, you sure? Okay, all right, okay, Zaddy. She's right. That's literally how it works. She's actually hoping that you will stop her madness at some point. But nah, she's gonna have to stop the madness. If she doesn't stop you, you won't stop it. That's out of order. Oh, but let's just play fair. Yeah, these are the issues. Fairness. Baba, you can do that with your lady colleagues at work. We're talking about your romantic lover. This shit was not fair from the get-go. It will never be fair. You don't want it to be fair. You want her to bend down, get on her knees and do the needful. Excuse me. And do it willingly because she wants to. She'd rather do it to you. Is that fair? Why are you looking for fairness with your woman? That's out of order. You've lost your position. She's losing respect by the second. And if you think it's her fault, you're still right. You're right.
You're right.
But Kamala Harris is not going to help you. It's not. She's not. She's not going to help you. Okay? Most women are not going to be Kamala Harris. Go figure. Go figure. Let's keep going.
I'm not talking for any other man who, you know. So that is just me personally. I'm like,
But Ben, I understand that you are talking. I mean, you're talking about what works for.
A lot of men actually feel that way, which is why we are addressing it. A lot of men actually feel that way, and like I said, rightfully so. I'm not taking your rights away, but those rights is not your goal. Your goal is that your woman is in love with you and want to have sex with you all the time. She doesn't want you to step out of the house. She can't wait till you come back to the house. She's heads over here in love with you. That's your goal, not to be right.
For you, but I think that's not healthy. It's not.
No, MOP. I just want to be right. No, I know you agreed with me. Your goal is not to be right. Okay, that's not why you got married, bro. That's not why you got married. You just wanted a synergy. You wanted a glue that you can't explain. But, right? Somebody is needy, but you actually don't mind. You're like, she loves you. She's kind of needy. She comes off clingy, but you don't mind. That's just your lady, right? That's really what you want. Not fairness. Not let's just play fair. What is that? That's so unsexy. What the fuck is fairness? Why are you obsessed with fairness in a romantic relationship? How does that make okay, I know why. It's because see finish don't enter. That's why you're not enjoying it.
It's not healthy because it's a kind of it can be perceived as a manipulative
manipulation
to get the other person.
That's the right way to put it. It can be perceived as. It's not necessarily your intentions, right? I have people that take the car away from their wives because they're upset with their wives. It starts with a thought. It starts with little things, right? As a matter of fact, when I was having this discussion with my wife, I admitted there were times that she disagreed with me, and I started to nurse the idea that, okay, maybe if I take her name off of that credit card. Well, it starts as a thought. It starts small like that. She even reminded me that there was one day that I told her that she can't drive the X5. I don't remember that anymore, by the way. But I said that she can, and she grabbed the key and then she went and drive it. Well, that's a person that's still not fed up. She can get to a point where she'll be like, okay, I'm going to show you. What happened to women? Then she start listening to other women say, get your own money, get your own money. Well, once your woman start listening to get your own money, get your money, she's gone. All she needs. Somebody told me that if I find a person, a client told me, if I find a person that can afford to take care of my livelihood right now, I would dump this motherfucker right now. Now, this is real. Well, that's a bad woman anyway, but we're all bad. When it gets down to survivor, we're all bad. That's why I told you, don't get obsessed with your goodness or you're doing the right thing. You've always taken, don't get obsessed with that stuff, okay? Elevate yourself. Be obsessed with becoming a better version of yourself than the version yesterday. Stop talking about how good you are. That's actually not sexy and not attractive, okay? Not in this context, of course. There's some women who fall in love with arrogant bastards. I know it's another conversation entirely. Let's just continue.
To agree to what you are asking. And I don't think I wish Ola was here. He will be able to articulate this for me better. Ola has a way of being able to reach these things and even I don't have the words, but I know what I mean.
Auntie B. Auntie B. No vessel. I have one quick question.
Question.
At what point do you think a woman should leave her marriage if her husband is displaying certain...
That question, I can smell it. It's another attempt to... Now, again, Uncle Benoit and I have had this conversation. I have a better understanding of where he was coming from. The more important part about this is that some people are listening, and they are listening with a certain part of their brain that connects with the pain they're going through. And that's why I wanted us to address it and elaborate a little bit more. But let me look at this real quick. Let me come to this chat, something I was supposed to address earlier on. Okay, there you go. Please like this video. Thank you. I like you. Uncle Beno said, and that's how we got several parts of this topic. Oh, yes, so many. Yep. It was because of this Uncle Beno's submission on Auntie B's show that made me share my story. Thank you, David. I really appreciate that you shared this story, David. I appreciate you. I appreciate Bumi. I appreciate Uncle Beno. I appreciate some people, a lot of people in the chat of Uncle Beno that really said, you know what? I've done this and I did it for a good reason. Something I thought was a good reason. No, it's still a good reason, but I couldn't see as far as the impact negatively. I was just trying to fix an issue that was happening instantly. Right? Like somebody is dismissive, they don't want to agree to your point, it's their way or the highway, right? I appreciated that because it allows us to get through, because it's never, like I always say, it's never you're right and I'm wrong. Or I'm wrong, or I'm right and it's never that. It's none of that. I can't even tell you you're wrong if I don't know your full story. It doesn't make any sense, right? So it was because of this Uncle Beno's submission on Auntie B's show that made me to share my story. On that day, everyone made it look like if you keep malice, you are the problem. Yeah, I know what you mean, but that's why I keep always saying it's not a matter of you, the problem, or it's your fault. It's about there is a problem. And keeping malice will not solve it. It can actually expand it and make it worse. That was majority of it. That's why Auntie B got to a point to say, I wish Ola could be here so he can put it into words. It's not like I'm good at putting it into words too. I just take my time, right? I just take my time. So, and even if you're my client, a lot of my clients are listening to me right now, you know that that's a big part of what we're doing. This, if you didn't get into that problem overnight, don't expect it to be solved overnight. It's very simple, okay? There's bad habits somewhere, usually on both sides, to be honest with you. But whoever is complaining first has power to start the direction that they want it to go, okay? It takes two to tango. Yes, eventually. It doesn't have to start that way. Actually, it never starts that way, okay? All right. So thank you for being here, David. I appreciate you, David. I think the more men speak out, the better women will know how we felt too. And we can also get to learn skills to work with. All right, good. Sesma said it is quiet on the outside, but trust me, the person giving you the silent treatment is having full-on convo in their head. Good point. And yabbing you. Good point, Sesma. That's a good point. Okay? That's why I said, when David said, I don't care, I'm like, that's a disconnect. Nah, you do care. And it's okay to say, I care. All right? And there's a place and time to say, hey, I should, instead of saying, I don't care, what I do normally in our programs, I redirect that care to start caring about self. Start caring about self. And usually, you're obsessed with that other person. And the way you camouflage is that you act like you're obsessed with what they're saying. You're complaining about what they're doing. But actually, you're obsessed with them and you've lost yourself. And you've lost everything about you. So it's a struggle. It's a very hard thing to comprehend because of the way, but it's marriage. Well, you've lost yourself. You've lost yourself. There's a certain level of confidence that's just too sexy to ignore. Confident. To bear. Well, when you start complaining about sex, that doesn't look like confidence, does it? It doesn't. So you're right. It's a complex issue. And that's the point I'm trying to land on you. There's something, this is beyond right and wrong. Right? And no, it's not about you're the problem. Because once I tell you it's your problem, you shut down too. Yeah, like we're even perpetuating the problem. Now you're like, forget those ones. Those ones don't know what they're talking about. No, it's not about one person is the problem. Is that possible? Yes. Usually that's not the case. Okay? Usually it's just two human beings trying to collaborate. It creates friction. It's just inevitable. And when it happens, yeah, you find yourself inside of poto. And what do you normally do naturally? Knee-jerk reaction. Am I that bad? I'm not that bad. I know what I was thinking. It's their fault. That's the wrong angle. Okay, even if it's actually their fault, it's the wrong angle. Because you're married to this person. If it's so much their fault, leave them. I'm guessing you can't leave them easily. Well, they bring some kind of value. Okay, good. Let's talk about those values. Well, before we talk about those values, let's talk about you. How did you lose yourself in this shit? What about you? Don't you deserve soft life too? So what do you mean? Well, we need to tap into your greatness. You need to start feeling like yourself again. Right? So if you disengage temporarily, that's what Yoruba people say. You go back to gather power. Not because you're acting like a teenager. I'm just going to shut down so that they can find it. That's called manipulation. Because we're talking about a marriage at least. Some kind of romantic relationship at least. So it makes you feel good short term, but you still feel like shit, which is what Sesma was saying here. There's a battle going on inside. Tonya says silent treatment, shutting down, malice are all in the family of emotional abuse because it touches the other partner. Communication is the solution. Good. David says, MOP, let me throw a question in. If as a man I'm extremely addicted to porn and masturbation, consequently I no longer feel attracted to my partner, do you think the man will ever admit the root cause? That is in fact a question. When you bring in addiction, okay, now we're trading in we're talking clinical stuff now, okay, and I don't want to speak too much to clinical stuff, okay, but I'll tell you like this, just as a general knowledge, when you're talking addiction, you're literally proving everything I've just said. So it's more so, it's not even about being attracted to your partner, right? It's about you now. It's about you, right? It's about you. So if you no longer feel attracted to your partner, are we saying that your wife is addicted to porn and they're no longer attracted to you? Are they addicted to swinging off a chandelier? Is that what, or you're talking about you not being, because from what was said earlier on, you're still attracted to your partner. So there's a small gap there that I'm missing. Now you talk about they're addicted, they're watching porn, and they're using masturbation stuff, and they just don't want to deal with you. Is that what we're talking about? I need some clarity on that. Unless you say it's not your story, it's just a general question. If it's a general question, that addiction must be dealt with first before we're talking about attraction to another person entirely. Okay, not only are you not going to be attracted to your partner, potentially your productivity as a human being will be shattered. So it's a bigger conversation than just your attraction to your partner. But if you want to elaborate, feel free. Now to say, that is why we told Brother Ben is not a malice keeper. Because if he meets one, he will know he's a Lana. That's a good point. I was going to tell him that, like, Brother Ben, you're a Lana. You're not really a malice keeper. You even said like, no, rarely, if you see malice keeper, this is who they are. It's become who they are, I should say. It's a learned behavior, but it's something they've been doing for long before that marriage. Okay, they are very comfortable in that funk. Okay, they would rather be talking in their head than talk to you. Okay. All right. Sesmore. I think Sesmore might be some kind of professional. If you're a professional, please reach out. We can always use your submission. If you're a professional, I can always use other people's perspective, please. Okay. See, that depends on who you feel is responsible for your actions. If you admit or not to yourself and others, the problem remains to you. There you go. That's a good point. In my personal, my opinion, I guess, porn and sex toys are in the same poto. It will mess up whoever indulge in them. It's not always true. Just like alcohol don't always mess up everybody. Addiction, right? Alcohol is not the same for everybody. Some people will drink alcohol for 5 years, it will eat up their whole liver and everything. Some people will do it for a lifetime, they're still standing. Ask Wole Soyinka. Okay? I'll let my uncle on Sharp Edge News TV tell you about Wole Soyinka. I think he mentioned it on the last show. Okay? Wole Soyinka is about to turn 90 next month. Okay? Some people will swear up and down, cigar will destroy you. Not everybody, okay? Not everybody. But it's good to say, hey, that's not healthy. It's better to say it can destroy you. But it's not always true. Some people can just, they can, how do you say it? They can hold more than others, you know? So that we don't turn out to there's a lot of things we've demonized, especially from a traditional Nigerian standpoint, that it's not really helping to demonize. It just makes people go wilder anyway, because people are going to do what they're going to do if it comes down to survivor. All right, let's see if Uncle Beno has finished his submission. We digress.
Behavior.
Auntie B, let me answer.
I will finish this today. Okay, so that question Uncle Ben was just asking, let me rewind it. That question is designed to, if you do this, then I do that. Wrong angle. Wrong angle always. Okay? Wrong angle. Okay? We don't want to do that, but let's listen to it. Okay?
I think a woman should leave her marriage if her husband is displaying certain.
At what point should a woman leave her marriage? If her husband is displaying certain what? Behavior.
Auntie B, let me answer.
Okay, go ahead.
At the point where she's tired.
That answer is such a perfect answer, but I have a feeling it's not enough. Let's keep going.
Where she's not happy. It's just like how, Ben, respectfully, you're saying that your lawyer is the psyche. When you go into marriage and you're saying that lawyer is no far. That's the psyche. That means you are ready to risk it all.
Okay, wait. Before Uncle Ben goes on to continue his point, let's bring in fairness into this. So how come a man can do it? That's a good question. Why come men don't do that? Maybe because men are different from women? Men don't just say, hey, I'm tired, I leave. There's a sense of duty that a man carries, right? And it's not just going to be, I'm tired. But hey, who is defining what's tired? At what point is tired? Is tired different from people to people to people? Yeah, it's a generic question. It's a very general question. But when a person is tired, we don't have to tell them. They just leave. It might be 10 years down the line. It might be 8 years. It might be 18 years. It might be 2 months. It might just be an annulment after doing it in Vegas 2 days later. When it's tired, I don't know, right? So we need specific, we need actual stories, right? Before we can really make this into a thing, right? But hey, it's just a generic. Let's just see if men can do the same. My answer already, men are generally not built to do the same, which is why they should not treat themselves as the same as a woman. Because you're not built that way anyway, especially if you're a good man who takes care of the bill, you take care of your family. You'll be busy saying, we said I do. You're supposed to be committed now, and now you are weaponizing sex. And she's like, babe, I'm not weaponizing, I'm just tired. And she's like, I'm not gonna okay, all right, let's do it. Okay, just do what you want to do. And you're like, wah. It's not the same. I'm sorry, I'm just dramatic. Let's keep going.
That means you are not ready to walk through it. That's the point. If I'm
the Shalaye has spoiled the answer she gave. The Shalaye has made it worse, because now from the next sentence after that, there's about 200 different Nollywood movies. The answer should have been just as generic as the question, which is at the point where you're tired. Then Uncle Beno can say, what do you mean tired? No, but Uncle Beno is already making up his own Nollywood movie that fits the narrative he's trying to sell.
not happy. If when I'm going home, I'm thinking, I'm panicking. I'm not happy.
Threatening divorce is a no-no.
Yes.
Absolutely. Don't threaten divorce, please.
So that's the point that you just say, I not do again. Like, F it.
Threatening divorce is also manipulation, by the way. I know. Ola, you're not finishing this right. I know.
Never spelled it.
Threatening divorce is manipulation. If you do it enough, it's abusive behavior. Now he's just talking. Uncle Beno is just talking on the public platform, of course. But we're saying some people listen to that and they literally go back home and they'll be doing that. That's manipulation. Just because you're manipulating doesn't mean you didn't have your reasons. So, right? You know, the reasons that will make you say, I don't care too. You see sex, then I'll just file divorce. And you keep saying that to your wife, you're actively trying to manipulate them to give you what you want because you don't have the skills to do it in a way that will create lasting solutions. Right? It's a coping mechanism. So eventually you will get what you want. You will attract what you fear the most. Remember, we're not talking about your job where there's a paycheck on Friday. We're talking about a place where everything is literally a privilege. They stayed with you because they are attracted to you or to something that you offer. And it's all, they don't have to stay with you. Never mind the vows you did in church and all that kind of stuff. That's nice. That's cute. People should honor them. You're absolutely correct. People should honor them. Okay? The reality is that when it comes down to survivor, you'll be right, they will also be right.
You're right.
They will run for the hills when they get tired, wherever that point is. 2 days later or 20 years later. Let's keep going. Have we lost the point? No, not yet. Uncle Beno is asking the question. We didn't finish it yet.
I'm tired. Wait till what make it happen. That's the point.
Yeah. Because what it is that whatever...
They are giving all this shalaye because they are also, based off of what Uncle Beno has been saying, they are kind of knowing where it's going already. So they are going and going and going. Let's hope Uncle Beno comes in a second.
We are both adults, right? And so we have equal opportunities.
Options.
Whatever you think, you say your lawyer is down the road.
That's what I was saying.
Lawyer is also down the road. As a matter of fact, women are the ones that always instigate divorce. Statistically, they file for divorce more. So I don't
80% more.
think.
Or 80%, just rough numbers. 75% college educated, 90%. They pull the trigger because oftentimes that's the only out they have. Men can have multiple different outs, options. Go around, drink, act like they're boys. There's no kids tagging on along to every trip they go. So they get comfortable. Or she's there taking care of her kids. Well, she's also listening to YouTube videos. One day she's going to get her enough energy, okay, and say, enough is enough. You think she's wrong for doing that? You're right.
Well, you're right.
Yeah, but she will still leave. Okay.
You doing what?
She's still living. Okay. So that's why I said it's not about being right. We got to focus. We don't need to be right. We want to create results that we want, that feels right. Let's keep going.
I mean, for a healthy marriage, you shouldn't always have it in mind that my lawyer is down the road, or if you don't do what I want, then I'm going to withdraw.
Okay,
We
thank
have
you,
to
Auntie.
find
Want better malpractice protection?
Paying bills
Meet
again.
MedPro Group, the industry's largest and strongest malpractice.
more healthy ways.
Thank
No,
you,
I'm not
Auntie.
saying that what
Let me
she's
now-
doing is right, though. I'm not supporting because I don't know what the
I just
situation
want
is.
to, Auntie B, I just want to flip the question around now. At what point should a man leave a marriage?
Well, it's a very blanket question now
Oh,
because
no,
there are
we
several
answer
things
woman
that can
own
happen.
now straight up. Oh. We answer woman own straight up when she's no longer happy. That's what my sister there said.
Let's
so
answer
at what
it.
point should a man leave a marriage?
When he's not happy, when he's not fulfilled.
Thank you. That
And
is the point.
Uncle Ben, what you're failing to realize, sorry to interrupt, what you're failing to realize is that it's not one person that makes a marriage, it's two people, whether we like it or not. And as why man of prestige will say that is on the man is because you are the head, right? It's not like it's not the woman's job to make the marriage work. But if you are going biblically, if you marry and if you're following the honors of marriage, it's your responsibility. You are the leader. And as a leader, you are not supposed to be bragging that, oh, I eat 4 meat. Now, servant leadership position, it cannot be 50-50 every time. Sometimes, some days I do everything. Some days, no day. I go feeling. So if you is not happy too.
Blessing said, my ex-husband did exactly what Ben is doing, and I could not continue with him anymore.
Thank you. See, Auntie B, I want us to look at this thing from a fair perspective.
You are looking at
Okay.
it from a gender perspective.
No, not gender. See,
Yes,
Auntie
you
B,
are. Because
Sorry about this. Fair and gender, they're synonymous. You know, in dictionary, they are not synonymous. In this topic, they are synonymous. And I think that's what Auntie B picked up there. When you say, let's be fair, and we're talking about between a husband and a wife, don't be surprised if it's interpreted as a fair standpoint. And I've already spoken about fairness today. I don't want to go over that again. Fairness in romantic relationship, it just gets worse. It just gets worse. Let me see here. Uncle Beno says, well, MOP, I don't know where people on the show got the idea that me saying lawyer is around the corner means threatening divorce. It's kind of interesting that you said that. Remember I said people are making up Nollywood movies as they hear one thing. There's certain things they hear based off of your rhetoric so far and based off of their own interpretation. And, you know, they hear what they hear. You know, that's where it's coming from. So if you say, well, my lawyer is down the road, the person that says, like, you can't be surprised that they will say, my own lawyer know they down the road, Abby. Right? So it's only natural that they do that. That was just a honest answer to the question asked by the host. Yeah, I hear you. Uncle Beno, unless you have said or insinuated that your spouse in an argument is a threat, it is a threat. So it feels like it's not necessarily the physical reality or things you like. If it feels like a threat, it's going to be received as that. And by the way, more likely than not, your wife, before you even say it, they smell it. If you keep threatening them, you will take this, I will take your credit card away, I will do this. All of that is already emotional and verbal abuse. And then when you actually do it, it becomes financial abuse because it creates fear, it creates anxiety. They feel like they're walking on eggshells. They're actually becoming afraid, right? The same thing will be true if you happen to be the receiver of a japa. Your wife brought you to the America, and then she's always threatening to throw you out. I will go and report you. Abi, you did some kind of, and she's always talking about how she's going to report you and all this because you have arguments. You can also look at it that way because some women do that, right? We offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com.